see a little bit more action, per se, off the start?
I mean, ultimately, it depends on what happens with drop strategy. We will see a lot of teams facing off against each other for the first time. So there might be some learning pains here as we see a lot of people jumping early here, headed towards that Primorsk area and the military base. We do have some unknowns here on the screen, but for the most part, I am looking at Space Station Gaming, who has taken a lot of time to learn that ferry pier area, and they are going to have some company.
Well, we'll see. We do have a couple different teams, as you said, dropping down by that military base area and actually getting a bit spread out at that, it seems. So we'll see if they can reconvene with each other. You can see their Team 10 dropping in right in the middle. And they will have some company nearby. Shouldn't see any action right off the gate here, but they will have some of that company nearby. So
this is Final Boss we're looking at, and this is a unknown team to me, but they have made it this far. So it looks like they're going to have the very important area of the military base all to themselves, at least for now. There was looks like a team dropping nearby, but for the most part, they're going to have access to some of the best loot in the game, and we can see them getting underway. And we will get our first circle.
Man, that's a lot of water, Moses.
It is a lot of water, but we will see that southwestern play zone. I mean, looking at the map, no one went Georgia Pole again. This is something that we've seen in some of the earlier stages where Georgia Pole and even Milta, I mean, they're still long floating over there, ghosts still in the air. But they're ultimately just no one in Georgia Pole, and I think Smack from TSM has noticed that. He's still in his parachute as well. So he might be calling out for his team, grabbing vehicle spawns, but it's going to be a southwestern play area.
It looks like actually CUN has already lost a player from their team. There is a little bit of action going on here and there. Huntum gets taken down as well, as you see Grizzly Mallard just flying through the map here. But a little bit of action off the start, not a whole lot, as these teams really just trying to get in some of those vehicles.
This Milta area, this Milta farm area specifically, is looking very dense with players. I think that we were maybe expecting some vehicle spawns there, but now it's just a mishmash of players. Milta is inhabited. Ghost actually a little bit disjointed. Balak looking for a vehicle clearly has not been able to find one. The rest of Ghost headed up into this area. I imagine they're going to try and drive to that Lipovka prison area, maybe do some spread out looting, something we've seen from them in the past. But for now, it's going to be about map pressure. And there is going to be a lot of it mounting around that eastern, northern side of the play zone where people are going to be transitioning into the Gatka region. And for the most part, it's going to be about vehicles, I believe, this game.
Yeah, as everyone's trying to get in those vehicles, get their way back towards the next play zone, get themselves a good compound maybe to get set up in and try and work into this next circle here. But so far, things relatively quiet across the playing field. Only a couple kills, I believe.
So for now, I think it's going to be about TSM deciding how they're going to want to rotate into this zone. They are in the Razak area around the ruins. Not a great loot spot, but not bad to start the game. They're in a bit of a no man's land. Georgia Pole has been taken over. That is going to be Affinity taking over the North George area. South George completely vacant. Gatka completely vacant. So there will be a path for Affinity to get south, but for now, there is a ton of teams outside the play zone, and that's going to lead to a lot of rotational issues.
I mean, are you expecting to see a lot of contention here at some of these big choke points, like over in the Gatka area, maybe over by Pochinki as well? Are we going to see some action there as teams start to rotate into the circle? Are those going to be some of your hot points? Or?
Well, the Georgia Pole area, especially the southern portion of the Georgia Pole Mountain, is a favorite for transition. So essentially coming along that southern end of the mountain, coming down through Gatka, I think we'll see a lot of teams coming that way. But it really depends where teams want to set up choke points. There will be a very nice compound for a choke point right around here. And not to mention the fact that a lot of paths are going to be coming down like this. There is some key areas around there. You can see that is William Schwab, the team 22 there, already looking to hold on to that choke point, but they're spread looting. I'm not sure. We can already see Noble moving down in rotation, so I think early rotations will be key here.
Yeah, look, as you said, Noble is starting to work their way in. They want to get to the shindig early and try and find themselves a spot to bunker down and get set up as the rest of the team start to work their way in. They do have a little bit more time here, just about a minute and a half until that circle starts to move in and force people down into the southwest corner. But as we were saying before, there is quite a bit of water here, so things are going to get dense potentially fairly quickly.
I would expect to see teams like Ghost Gaming likely arrive late to this circle. They are already late on rotation if they wanted to get there first. So I would imagine Ghost is going to take their time, get looted up, and then arrive late and play the edge. I think edge strategy in this 20-team lobby is going to be more realistic considering how much dead space is in this play area. The water is impassable. I'm actually wondering what teams like Team 10 down in the military base are going to do to try and come across. They could boat across. They could potentially even swim over to Ferry Pier, but you can already see Space Station Gaming, my underdog favorite, has already started to center, so I'm wondering if these loot stages are going to be too much pressure, and it might lead to some feast or famine situations.
We already have a few kills going down here. Just 3 people have been knocked out so far, and it's spread across a few different teams, so not a whole lot, but I imagine things are going to start getting dicey here in just a short amount of time as that space is starting to restrict itself. And I mean, what is the best strategy? You saw Team 10 down there by military. I mean, what is the best strategy to try and get back up onto that mainland and into the circle region? I mean, do you go bridge? Is it better to boat across there?
I would expect for them to probably boat across, going up the bridge area, especially since this play zone is going to lead to a lot of pressure in these little areas, specifically around here. I mean, this is going to be a nice hold for a team along that cliff face. So anything that you want to try and do should happen either soon or late. And in Team 10's case, they don't have to force their way across early. They do have to worry about pressure coming from Novo. There is a team looting there as well. So in their case, it's going to be an instance where maybe they can't foresee who's coming behind them, but it's just getting safe and maybe crossing at a later time.
Space Station picking up a kill down there, just about smack dab in the middle of the circle, and it looks like they're still going at it with Defy down in that region as well. You can see the shots ringing off there on the map. So
Ghost Gaming in transition.
Yep.
So leaving a little bit earlier than I would have expected, but they are maybe just looking for a different spot to start their loot. And we can see your Space Station getting engaged early. We've seen this in the past from them. They do have a lot of traffic coming their way, but their transition out of Ferry Pier is always met with fights.
Let's see, as Space Station is starting to get on the move here as well. Everyone hop in the car, let's go. Getting loaded up, but that circle is coming in ever so slowly. Everyone's working in. Now you said there is going to be a pretty big importance potentially on playing edge strategy.
Yeah, to play on the edge of the circle. So realistically, all of these different areas where you'll see teams trying to get in under the circle, there's 2 strategies essentially in PUBG. One is to crash the middle and find the best possible compound, because at that stage you're kind of playing PUBG poker. You're playing the odds. Where is the circle going to go? You can see teams are likely going to favor the northern end of this initial circle because likely that water will be adjusted out. It doesn't happen all the time, but just based on odds, you're going to want to stay in the most safe spot and reduce your rotations. Less movement is better, especially in the mid game.
Let's see, there is a drop there out in the water though, so it's going to be pretty tough for anyone to try and go and get. Obviously some good stuff in there, and got Team 4, that's Hooligans in the boat, trying to get to their next base position, but now everything is starting to close on in here. So
this is where you'll start to see pressure, especially along these areas where people are transitioning. You're going to see a lot of guys trying to avoid fire, and when you're seeing those vehicles moving around on your screen, you have to assume that they're in a vulnerable state. And look at all those names piling in on top of each other. That's going to make for a lot of issues. Ghost is already making their way into the play zone, and that's going to be a situation for them where they might just want to come in on the edge of Pachinki. There's a couple of decent compounds there they can hold. Ghost is a smart team, and they have to know, and you can already see TSM doing the same thing. They're on foot. They're not using vehicles right now, and they are just edging their way slowly to this first play zone.
Space Station Gaming is going at it with Immaculate down there. They did get the knock onto Kodiak Chris, so see if they can finish him off, and indeed they will.
Vexel. High-level fragger.
That's right, the fragger. Right there, he is able to pick up 1 kill for...
Well, he gave it to Win. Win's got 2. I think he got the initial down, so that's 3 kills already for Space Station. That's a good start for them.
Yeah, they're looking good. Again,
oh yeah,
with the way the points work,
interior parking.
He's just, yeah. Ever, man. Hey, it's his house.
He can do what he wants.
Yeah, that's
You
right.
can park a motorcycle in the front room. That's fine.
I mean, the doors and windows are open too, so I mean...
ventilation is key.
Yeah, exactly. Don't want to kill yourself, so...
All right, so looking at, actually Ghost has decided not to play the edge at all. They've come all the way in. They're going to try and nudge into a compound here. Haven't received too much pressure just yet, but again, there is an extra 4 teams to what these guys are normally used to seeing in a lobby. So staying in vehicles for too long will be dangerous, and they are currently sandwiched between Team 19 and Team 8, still in transition, trying to find a spot to call home. It looks like they are going to head down to that southern Gatka compound.
Well, there is not hacking TVs out in a boat there. Timmons taking some shots at him, but I'm not sure if he's really going to find a whole lot with that. Team 19, that is Elusive Gaming. They found a nice little spot for themselves for the time being.
Wildcard is actually transitioning all the way from the top of the circle and have found themselves in the beach area. They basically came all the way down and have found themselves here, which is a huge transition. But again, because Georgia Pole was empty, this whole portion of the play zone was relatively empty, which just allowed them to just kind of come straight through there and find an easy transition in this first circle, which is a lucky break for them.
You can see TSM starting to move their way in here on that top end from the northeast. We've got Wildcard Gaming camping out here. How do you feel about position currently at Wildcard? I mean, what's their...
Well, looking at the roster, they've actually made a couple of changes here. They're playing with the second half of the former Lumber Mill team. Lumber Mill had a great tournament just a little while ago, playing with Caint and Trifley instead of Sharpshot. And I believe, I can't recall the other player. They are missing two, but for Tumai, he is the in-game leader for them, so he's obviously made a game-time decision, or at least a decision for this tournament, to play without some of his regular players. I think there might be an age restriction area there, but ultimately, this is a different look wild card. But Lumber Mill guys are super high talent. So,
well, we'll see how they fare with them. But the next circle you can see is about a third of it almost is in the water. So still got a lot of teams left. Things are going to get condensed here pretty quickly. This is when we're going to start seeing the action pile on here pretty soon.
Absolutely, and now we've seen another shift pushing them further west. This is going to mean, again, a lot of pressure going to be mounting on this side of the play zone. So it's going to be a situation now where I think vehicles are going to become more and more dangerous. And I know with all of these guys in vehicles, the in-game performance might be a little bit lower than they're used to.
Yeah,
got to be careful.
Yeah, definitely do need to be careful. I mean, at this point, this team's just trying to get in and find a spot that they can call home because,
oh man,
real estate's not going to be. There's not going to be a whole lot of real estate for them to work with. How many teams are left in this kind of space? But
no, and taking shots at passing vehicles is going to be part of it. And you can see we are seeing some downs and kills happening, but that middle of the play zone is getting super dense with teams, and everyone is just now taking shots at each other in transition. Ghost is in a really tough spot on the edge of the quarry here, and now it's actually Wildcard getting tangled up with Team 11.
And Team 11, that's immaculate. EG 13. Wildcard, they've got eyes on Team Gold Stance.
Team Gold Stance. Or Gold Stand, regardless. Lampalot in his vehicle, just trying to find somewhere safe to stop. TSM getting involved as well in the other portion of the play zone. But for now, Wildcard, having picked up their first kill, is holding on to a nice hillside spot. And they do have some space around them, so it should be okay for Wildcard to play mobile here. And this is where vehicles are going to get very dangerous. You can see it is solid FPS, and the rest of TSM in the northern portion of the play zone, they are in a similar situation. But they are hanging out right next to Noble, so that's another team you got to be careful with.
I mean, at this point, you give up the cars and just try and find yourself a compound and camp it out.
Vehicles give you that flexibility to move, but they are also dangerous. You're extremely vulnerable when you're driving around in a vehicle, so you have to be careful with that. So you can see now, looking down the list, we have had no major casualties yet, but there are some teams losing one or two players here and there. But yeah, losing those vehicles can be dangerous because if you get a hard shift circle and you have to move further away than you would normally on foot, you might be in trouble. But we see here on the top right of the screen, Tumai going down with a headshot, and that's Space Station Gaming also getting involved here, getting another kill to their name. That's 4 kills now.
Yeah, they've picked up quite a number so far, especially out of the total that's happened in this game. They have, I mean, nearly all of them at this point, so gonna get some extra points there in the kill department. Again, each kill, I believe, counts for 15 points towards your team on the standings, so definitely something to consider there.
So now it looks like Space Station is going to be moving around this quarry area. A lot of decent natural cover, some good flexibility, but you can see Ghost is held up just to their west on the other side of the quarry. And now if Space Station and Ghost manage to go head-to-head in a 20-team lobby, that would be unfortunate for both of these guys in this first game because they are both high skill, but they both are representing a good chance to get further into this tournament. So anything that they want to go their way, they don't want to be facing each other this early.
Yeah, you can see McCoy is looking over that way, trying to see if he can get some kind of a shot. Fast Rail's going to go down to
well, you can't.
down by the
The X-ray kind of shows you their positioning a little bit further away, but no sight onto Space Station just yet. They might have heard some gunfire over that way. I'm not sure if Space Station is engaged with anyone else, but any audio information that Ghost will receive will likely be coming from them.
Well, things are continuing to condense in here. You can see Team 7 up there, Affinity, just hanging out right on the edge of the circle, at least for now. They're probably pretty happy there for the time being, at least. See if they decide to move things up, but everyone just finding their position at the moment. You can see TSM up there looks like they have a little place to kind of hang out at, and that's Affinity that I was talking about. They are just getting a little bit more looting in.
Yeah, meds and anything really, ammo is very important. You can see on your screen, 8 bandages, 2 first aids. That's actually quite a small amount of first aid supplies for a team that wants to get further into the map. Now, really after the initial loot stage happens, any loot gained is going to be from downed or killed enemy players. And really that's going to be difficult to loot, especially in the later stages of the game with so many extra players running around. So for now, it's going to be a matter of, even like Wildcard, Tumai losing his helmet this early in the game, getting that Car 98 headshot, that's something you can't really recoup until you happen to get a safe spot with a dead body or something like that. So it's replacing those key gear elements is very hard.
You did see Ghost and Space Station at one point were taking some shots at each other. We're on board with TSM right now. Smack just hiding out in the bushes here, using some of the hills for some cover, but he does see Team 19 there. That's Elusive Gaming. They're making their way across. He knows they're there. Certainly not going to take any shots there. He's got that SMG in hand, but
you can do a little bit of damage with that. The UMP has a fairly slow bullet, but you can see that the rest of his team is positioning to take pot shots, and all of TSM is now forming up to try and take some shots at passing vehicles. You can see the Team 3 lines there, and they have got one down, so that's going to be Fizzle going down from Team 19. That is Elusive Gaming losing one to Solid FPS, so that's a first kill now. And we see, actually, it is Ghost and Space Station tangling up around that quarry area as well. So TSM in position to continue the pressure Team 19, who has now stopped. And some shots.
Yes, he's going to be able to take him down, getting rid of Splinter. At least he's going to get the knock on him. Couldn't quite finish off the kill. He's going to try and wrap around here, see if he's able to do that. He does have a teammate nearby, right on the other side of the rock.
There's
on the rock next to him.
I don't think. Here comes the finishing nade. That should land relatively close, but Papa Gordo can't do anything right now, and he's going to crawl out and try and avoid the nade, but no less, he will go out.
He does get the kill there, Solid FPS, and you can see Papi Gordo just hanging out inside the hut. He's like,
sorry,
please,
you had your chance.
Yeah, unfortunately unable to save his teammate. You can see 11 and 21 here, facing off in the woods. There is a shot there for Black Dawn 0.
So this is Immaculate GG, having already lost one of their players. Looks like they're shooting over at Defy, who's just on the edge of the zone. So for now, we are in transition. We will see the next play zone revealed very shortly, and we'll see now what is going to happen as the pressure will now start to mount. We have seen most of the water come out of the play zone, and we are going to stay relatively centered, but this is going to be favoring Ghost Gaming to an extent. But right now, it is or something. Team 16 dead center in the middle of the map and the next play zone, and you can see people forming up already. It's Affinity jumping in their vehicles, getting ready to rotate.
Yeah, they're starting to make their way in. You can see
Ghost.
Smeagol. Ooh, yeah, they're taking shots at those cars passing by there just at the southern end of the circle. Shots are ringing at those guys from both ends, man. They are kind of stuck in a tough spot there as they've got all sorts of people shooting at them as they try and rotate around all the way to this west side.
Absolutely. We see Ghost. They do have the ability to put some pressure onto rotating teams, but we do have a deadlock here. It looks like it's going to be Affinity going at RIP.
Yeah, they're going to be taking shots. Little Joker's going to get the knock onto Smeagol. We got a full team brawl in the middle here. Another down coming in as Teflon PD, they got 2 downs. He's looking for some finishes here. Shots ringing out all over the place. My goodness. Oh, RIP. Literally
That
putting,
was
putting
wow.
them in the grave there.
That was a 4-for-0 trade.
Wow.
If they can get the res onto Smeagol, they will have lost no players, but they're not out of the woods yet. The rotation is in full swing, and now that is William Schwab, the team we were talking about, Team 22, looking to try and clean up with RIP here, who has just won a great victory. And now we can see it's actually TSM and Space Station also getting tangled up elsewhere. So we'd like to see what's happening with that. But for now, it's all about RIP trying to recover from that gunfight. Looks like they're going to do it.
Yeah, and they're going to be facing off here potentially against William Schwab here shortly. They're both kind of staring each other down. The shots are going, but
they got their utility out. They got the smoke screen going down. That'll prevent any direct attack. But for now, it's just a matter of Team 22 trying to maneuver on foot and get an angle onto Team 15.
Let's see what they're able to do. 15 there. RIP still just trying to move down a little bit. They're sitting in the sitting down by their vehicles.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to be able to do anything just yet. They are being held out of the zone essentially. So for now, this looks like it's going to be a bit of a stalemate as both teams just kind of looking at each other. Those vehicles are going to need to be retrieved at some point. But the nade's still coming out. They're just kind of probing, trying to find some shots here, but it looks like Team 22 is not willing to engage just yet.
No, they're still using some of that smoke screen as cover. So we'll see. Teflon just holding his position. They're not eager to make any moves here. It's going to be tough. Oh, Teflon. He saw Schwab for a second. He had the headshot available, but couldn't quite hit it with that K98. So there are some kills ringing around.
It looks like Wildcard is in a edge battle here at the southern end of the play zone. They do have two teams moving towards them, and they are tangled up. Looks like that is with the Savages. You can see Wildcard holding on to the edge of the zone. Now you can start to see where that edge play is becoming important. Wildcard there in the south, TSM in the north, Space Station to the east, and Ghost holding on to the quarry. Those are the big names here. So we'll see what happens with Wildcard. They're going to have an onslaught, and it's Ride getting the initial down.
Is looking to get those shots there. Did get that down. He's looking for more blood. Wow.
As we say that, it's Kane finishing that one off, and it looks like it's going to be the play zone doing the rest of the damage to Team 20 as they are being finished off one at a time. That's Wildcard now with 9 kills. Driftley and Kane carrying.
Oh man, just so many people being taken victim by the storm there. So Kane's gonna get out of there feeling pretty good about what he was just able to do out in the woods. The rest of his squad, as they start to try and move towards that next circle, there is one back there still from Honey Badger Nation that they see. He's all by his lonesome. He's just hanging out there in the woods by himself, and it looks like Kane's coming in for more blood. He wants to finish this guy off. Does he know he's there?
Yeah, it looks like it was the remnants coaster, I believe. From Team 20, they have been wiped out. So Kane's is going to try again. It's super important to try and find. He's just making sure he was dead there. Fires a couple of bonus balls there. But looting in this stage is going to be super important for them. You know, picking up meds as best they can. Noble and TSM, however, I'm looking up where they are, and it does look like they're going to have some edge play available to them as well. But for now, it's just a matter of this next play zone, which is staying relatively centered, but just a little bit to the north.
We'll see where they decide to go. I mean, you saw a wild card there. They're down at the bottom. What's the ideal position for them? Where do they want to go next?
They're actually going for a risky vehicle rotate here. They do have, luckily, it was William Schwab who did win the fight, but they're landing right on top of each other.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, they're just going straight into it.
Oh, yeah, and the rest of Wildcard has not had time to bounce away.
No. That could be critical for Wildcard as he just went, I mean,
straight in.
Yeah, straight in there.
3 teams here involved. And this is Wildcard getting destroyed on the way in. That rotate not doing them any favors. And Team 18 is there along with, that's Hooligans.
Team 4 and 1 player from 13 from Wildcard. He's kind of stuck in the mess of the remnants of his team. Oh, this is going to be a tricky situation here. Mickey Smack just trying to gear up here alongside the wall. Going to use that syringe and try and get a little extra gusto for the fight. Oh, man.
He's going to have to play super defensive here. Mickey now sharing a compound with both his teammates as well as, all of Hooligans and Trifley, I believe the last man standing for wildcard. We'll have to confirm that. I believe it is only Trifley left, but the pressure continues to mount.
Oh, man, this is going to be a tricky situation here. Mickey Smack getting lit up, and he'll be down by Balak on the side of Ghost, so not in the best of spots. Smoke is going to go down.
Right to get that res. That's going to be tough. He's just smoking to get him, prevent him from being finished, I think. But even for Hooligans, they're receiving pressure from up the hill. Trev decides to jump on down and get involved.
We got more teams joining the action, though. Oh, no.
Not for long.
Team 4 lighting them up. Team 10, that is final boss. They are going to get crushed as they try and come in and join the fight. Ferrari is able to get a knock as well onto...
That's Noble. Yeah. So TSM and Noble are actually getting relatively close to each other on the northern side of the play zone. It looks like is Trifley with 10 kills. Wildcard going out in 15th is a disaster for them. Potentially, 14th if Trifley does go down. He's going to play full defensive here. Try and keep himself out of sight and just try and salvage his team's round.
I mean, is he pretty much just staying in this shack as long as he can until he has to move, really?
He's got a long distance to run, and you can see here comes Hooligans. They know he's in there. Here comes Grenade, jumps out.
Unable to. Valiant effort, but they knew he was there. That was a tough situation. Did get the knock, but the res will come through right now onto medium lone. So that next circle did move towards the northern end. So
that's actually favoring TSM and Noble at this stage. TSM moving around on foot. They do have pressure still coming in from Space Station Gaming. Right now it's Hooligans who have cleaned up this compound, now looking to finish off one more team, looking for the last man standing from CUN, and that is going to be Irish Spring going 4v1. Not going to happen. No. Actually, I guess not the last man. He went down there, so he has to have one more teammate somewhere else.
Yeah, he still does have one around. Not sure where he's at right now, but got stuck inside that building, and Hooligans knew exactly where he was. So Hooligans are going to have to get on the move here pretty quickly as they're just trying to loot his body real fast, and then they're going to have to go pretty much right across this field. It's not ideal.
It's going to be hard for Hooligans to get across there, especially on foot with the zone closing. It's not going to pressure them too much, but they will have to run through Ghost. Ghost, however, still receiving pressure from elsewhere, but this is a three-way fight between some big names here. Smack has been down and out, and Solid FPS is down as well. Rory and Break do not appear to be able to do anything for Solid FPS here, carrying 3 of the team's total 4 kills. And Space Station is swarming here, just trying to spread out and get vision, and Break and Rory playing defensive.
You can see just laying down here. D-Master is gonna get down to end, actually finished off by a member of Team 12 there. That's mixed results, so it's gonna be a tricky. Rory trying to run. He's taking
trying to get away.
Shots. He is gonna lay that grenade down, get the smoke down there, give himself some cover. So he does get away, but will he be able to heal himself up in time? Solid FPS getting knocked down as well. So this might be a bit tricky. Kills ringing all over the place here. A lot of people getting down.
It is Hooligans coming across. Space Station trying to manage the sight lines here. You can see Win just looking around with that 8x scope. Not a lot of ammunition on Win right now for that mini. And he does have the UMP as a backup, but Ghost is still receiving pressure. They've been doing some killing, but have been just tangled up with so many teams that they've taken a couple casualties as well.
Let's see, Profi here is just hanging
somewhere.
Out.
There he is.
Hey, hello. Hey, buddy.
So it looks like he's taking a look at the AFJ Ranger. That is mixed results. The team across from them, Team 12. Profi just looking to the edge of the play zone. He knows they're there. He just spotted a little bit of movement. He's going to wait to see if he can pop AFJ Ranger's head here. Just like that.
Ooh. Yeah. Got one good shot in. He's looking for a little bit more. There's only 2 members of Ghost alive at the moment.
They're going to hold on to this, I think. The zone is in their favor. They do have a little bit of space to get there. Right now, they're basically banking on extra kills and securing that top 5 placement. If they can eliminate this team, net themselves a couple extra kills, and they will have an easier path to the zone. But what happens after this will be a little bit of a dice roll, because you don't know what Team 5, that is Space Station Gaming, is going to do once the circle starts to move.
He's looking for that shot. He does find it on a Grozon.
He saw the blood puff. I think they're getting pressure from Space Station as well. So he saw that blood puff, and Profi, with that aim, that mini, lands the headshot. And they're looking for AFJ Ranger, last man standing, who's actually snuck off screen. Profi thinks he's still behind the tree there.
See, that next circle is kind of moving to the northwest corner of the circle.
This looks good for Noble. I mean, in general, I think this is a pretty favorable spot. It is TSM between Space Station and Noble. Grossen's going to go down to the zone. Ballack holding on, waiting for AFJ Ranger. So this looks like it's going to be a top 5 finish for some big names here. Noble, TSM, Ghost Gaming, as well as Space Station, all trying to get top 5.
Pretty big performances from all of them so far. Definitely want to try and get that win, though. Nitrogen's going to get knocked. And Ballack, who's managed to pick himself up a few kills so far in this game, looking for more. Win is actually going to get Ballack. Speaking of him, he's going to get knocked down at least as Ballack's just kind of heading for the smokes.
Oh.
No, he is going to get finished off. So that is another member of Ghost down. They have just one guy left right now. Profi.
Yeah, Profi wants that 5th place finish, and it looks like he has secured it at the very least. So with 8 kills, Ghost is now looking at elimination. They do have Team 15, who has stayed active throughout this. That is RIP, earlier winning some team fights, but they are getting pressure from Space Station, and TSM opportunistically is now rotating down behind Space Station.
Oh, man. Rari looking for the shots. He's got the circle closing in, though. He does have this hill as a little bit of cover, at least from Team 5 that are sitting down.
Came apart there for TSM a little bit. I think they had the flank there, but now it's going to be Space Station finishing off TSM. So TSM will get that 5th place finish. And that was a good idea, but they just didn't seem to commit to that full flank. I think Break got traded out too quickly.
Noble coming from over top of the hill here. They're going to have some easy pickings potentially. Smurf gets taken down. Wind dives to the storm.
Yeah, this looks good. This looks good for Noble. They have been relatively inactive as far as fighting is concerned, but for now, they do have 3 kills to their name. But look at RIP with 11 kills getting into it. It's a 3-way team fight.
Oh, this is...
Well, it was.
It was. It was. It was indeed. Not so much anymore.
Ooh.
Profi still
Daz
hanging out down there. Daz hitting some big old shots with the Car 98. But Team 15 right here, that is RIP. They've got...
Well, they're going for it.
Man, they are just going straight into Noble. Noble's going to get all sorts of knocks. And Noble does lose Godspeed. Oh, goodness. Nitrogen able to pick up a couple right there. So
here comes Profi. Profi has heard all this. He wants some of this too, taking some shots from Master Nook. But Noble's too spread out. They don't have the support close enough.
Oh, no.
Profi's come in, and he's just... He's medding, but he's going to try and get a flank onto the rest of RIP. Godspeed is there as well, and now Edak is coming to support.
Edak is moving his way on in, looking to go for the res onto his teammates.
Oh, this is going to be it. 1v1.
It's off to Nitrogen here. He's got to try and land these shots onto Edak. It's going to come down to the wire here. Nitrogen not doing too good in the health department either. He is going to use that syringe, though, and get some extra health for this fight. It is going to be a tough one. Godspeed going for the res here. Nitrogen coming in. He does hear him out, and he's able to take him down. Edak getting the kill. Oh, goodness.
So that's Noble taking game number 1 and playing their position very opportunistically. I like the way they rotated around. They played very nicely there, and they sprung at the last second. Almost lost it there in that team fight, but ultimately it was Noble coming out ahead. But RIP, a relative unknown.